Good day and welcome to the Dig Sideline Podcast. My name is Patrick Alonia.
And I am Sam DeCosmo.
All right, guys. And Sam, week two.
Week two.
This is big game in Lambeau.
Week one is behind us. It's time to put the good feelings aside.
Yes. Yeah.
We got to focus. We got to go to work.
No more happy feelings.
No more happy feelings. Zimmer's going to make sure of that. So prediction review. So going back to our very first episode, you and I went through all of the games that the Vikings have this season, and we discussed whether or not what games we think we were going to win. We went back to the archives. We pulled it out, and Pat, you and I both have the Vikings winning this game in Lambeau Field.
Let's go.
For
those who don't know, Sam and I are 1-0 to start the year.
That's true. We did both predict wins for week one.
So, with that being said, why don't we dive right in? Or actually, let's touch base on the Packers-Bears from last week.
Yeah.
Yeah, what did you see that kind of jumped out at you? What was surprising?
The very first thing that I noticed, and it wasn't, I know we're talking Vikings-Packers, but I want to talk a little bit about the Bears just because when we talked about the Bears in week one, you and I were just singing Matt Nagy's praises, right?
We were.
About his offensive scheme and about just how much of a genius he's from the Andy Reid tree. He can come up with these creative misdirection plays. I didn't see any of that.
Yeah.
I didn't see any of that in week one against the Packers.
I'm really glad you brought that up, actually, because after I had listened to the first one, I won't lie, a good 3 or 4 times. But yeah, we were singing his praise over in the Bears D, and all this shifting and swapping and all this stuff. And you got to wonder if, because it's year 2, people catch on in the league. You'd be surprised at how the Packers defense were able to, this sad, lowly Packer defense was able to put a stop to it.
If you ain't growing, you're dying.
Exactly. Yeah. If you're not forever changing. Yeah.
Well, and that's just it. As Andy Reid, as great as he is always changing his playbook.
Exactly.
He's never keeps the same play for, even a couple of weeks. And he's always just, just drawing up new stuff.
Contrary to popular belief, that play sheet is not a Big Mac menu and a McDonald's menu.
I think he's been losing weight, though.
He might be. He looks good. Andy, keep doing what you're doing.
Andy, keep it up.
But, yeah, I think... the Bears offense the offense didn't look good at all.
No.
And I think they exposed flaws. They stopped all the fun shimmy going on, and the Packers D looked better than they probably are.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, the Packers offense didn't look that great either.
No, it didn't. Yeah. I to be honest, I wasn't expecting that at all.
No. I was expecting them to come out. They barely ran the ball. I didn't hear Aaron Jones' name called once.
Not at all. Aaron Jones had a whopping 13 carries.
Wow.
For 39 yards, 3-yard average.
And it's not even like they were playing from behind.
No,
they were ahead the whole game.
But the fact of the matter is that the Packers are not a rushing team.
No.
And I don't think they ever will be.
No.
Yeah.
Not as long as Aaron Rodgers
Packers have a tendency to draft great quarterbacks. We have a tendency to draft great running backs. That's just how it is.
True.
But, and then Aaron Rodgers rushed for 3, and then Jamal Williams came in. He had 5 carries for no yards. So
Good job, bud.
Good job, buddy.
Keep it up.
So it just kind of goes to show, I think the Packers' offensive line is... it's going to be another big issue. Rodgers has been hounded the last 2 or 3 years.
That's true. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the Packers are kind of always well known for their high flying offense, or quote unquote high flying offense. I didn't see that. I mean, they played scrappy enough to win the game, but geez, it was tough to watch.
Yeah, and and the Bears did put up 5 sacks, so they
5 sacks.
Yeah, that seems a little less than what I felt like when I watched.
Well, the Bears' defense is unbelievable.
Oh yeah, no, I mean all over the numbers and the players that they have it's a stacked defensive line.
Oh yeah,
and just team in general.
Khalil Mack, who's the other guy that starts
with
R? What's his name?
Roquan Smith? No.
Yeah, Roquan Smith. Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
And then they got Leonard Floyd.
Oh my god.
And then they've got Akeem Hicks too. So it's the D line is stacked. And that can
just their front 7.
Exactly. And so I think that's why we can give a little bit of a pass to the rush game.
Sure. Yeah,
but
not a lot of holes were being opened up that game.
Exactly. But I think it goes to show that the Packers' weakness is exposed right there.
Oh,
you can stop the running game, you're forced to pass, and then you can play single man coverage in the back and
their
double up. Yeah.
Their Packers wide receivers are not what they used to be.
Yeah, not at all.
Like I forget which one's out. Marquez Valdez Scantling. I think he's the one who's still in.
He's in. It was EQ.
Equimarius
Yep.
St. Brown. Yeah,
Yep.
he's out.
Yep.
Valdez Scantling, I mean, he's supposed to be their number 2 guy, right?
Right. Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, and him and Devontae Adams both had 4 catches for 36, 52 yards.
and Devontae,
Yeah.
he is a phenomenal wide receiver.
Right.
But when you don't have a phenomenal number 2 wide receiver,
Right.
you're going to get double covered and you're not going to get any opportunities. And if your WR2 can't catch the ball, then you're just going to keep getting the attention.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And Rodgers was hit a bunch that game.
Yeah.
He was hit a bunch.
Yeah.
You've got to, as a Packer fan, you got to be holding your breath.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
And you
there's
got to
even-
wonder if his knee is still.
Yeah, and there was the one, he scrambled a couple times, but on one of them, he was kind of hunted down like a lion chasing a gazelle is what I saw. Or a bear, I guess.
A bear chasing a Acme Packer.
But yeah, they came up behind him and they did strip him actually, but I think he recovered. But
Yeah.
still, the point is, this is just it's not gonna last.
Well, and it was just, like I said, it was just such a dirty game to watch. I mean, it was, when the Packers offense and the Bears defense was out there, it was just a one-sided game. And then same thing the other way, the Packers defense, they did some work against the Bears offense, which I was not expecting.
They did. I'd say they gave up a little more in the passing department and receiving, but then again, the Bears were kind of forced to throw at the end.
Yeah.
But they didn't rush much either, actually.
Well, there's Mitchell Trubisky. That's part of the other part of the
Trubisky,
issue.
Can we talk about him?
Please.
Can we talk about just how bad he is? And how like the Packers exposed what we knew.
Oh, man. It's not good.
He's not good. Can you bring up that Elmo meme?
Yeah,
the other day?
we're going to plug it in. It's this meme. It's whenever Mitchell Trubisky sees a wide receiver that's open more than 10 yards down the field, and his eyes go like,
yeah. And it's kind of like
and
blurry.
it's like, too open. So we'll try to cut that image into the podcast here. But
yeah,
man.
but you want me to read off his stats?
Yeah, please do.
Okay. 26 for 45, 228 yards.
Wait, hold on. 26 for 45.
Yeah. Yep. He
missed 19 throws.
Yeah. He had a pick in the end zone, which was just atrocious. Do you remember that one? It was there's triple coverage. He just lobbed it up.
He just tried to force it in, and I don't even think he was getting rushed.
And you know who picked it off was, I can't think of his name, but it was the guy who was on the Bears last year.
Oh, yeah.
I can't think of his name.
Amos.
There you go. Yeah. Yep, Amos. Yep. So he had a pick there. 5 sacks. QBR was 18.5, and his rating
18.5.
and his rating was 62.1. So, I think as a Bears fan, you got to be worried.
You got to be worried. You can't just rely on Khalil Mack and Tariq Cohen hiding behind your offensive linemen.
And I think the only year that we've seen a defense, well, we've seen it many times, but a year where the quarterback really struggled was Peyton Manning and the Broncos.
Yeah.
That last 2 years. But
that was more Peyton Manning than anything else.
That's true. But what I'm saying is the defense was able to lift them.
I see what you're saying.
Is what I'm saying.
The defense won that Super Bowl.
You could play so bad
Von
that
Miller,
they still won games.
Yeah.
What I'm getting at though is we're talking about Peyton Manning and Mitchell Trubisky. So there's quite the discrepancy. So point is that Bears also hold your breath because this isn't going to last forever.
Right. So
wait, before I forget.
Yeah.
There was a very interesting comparison I heard after that game. Mitchell Trubisky was our Christian Ponder. Because high draft pick.
Yeah.
He went number 2 overall.
Yeah.
They traded up with the Niners. They gave up an arm and a leg.
Yeah.
And we took Ponder, I think, with the 7th pick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not Spielman's best pick, but.
No, it wasn't. And there were other QBs in that draft class, weren't there?
Yeah.
I remember when.
Mahomes.
Yeah, Mahomes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
There was a lot. There's a lot in that draft.
Oh, man.
But that's a tough thing about football, though, is you got to wonder, can you fit Mahomes just into the Bears when he got drafted, and would he do what he's doing?
Well, that's true. The Bears wide receiving core is not. You have Allen Robinson.
Right.
But who else is trying to catch the ball for you?
So you kind of wonder. It's tough
Pat Mahomes can huck the ball a mile, but if you don't have a Tyreek Hill to go out and get it.
Right.
But even though, that's a whole nother story. Tyreek Hill got out and Sammy Watkins just took over.
He is out for a couple more weeks. I think they put him on IR, actually. And
buddy,
Sam is sad because he's on his fantasy team.
You're killing me. I think he was my first round draft pick.
He was. You were picked 12th. So it was a good pick, but maybe he'll be back.
So Packers defense. So they were just reacting to what they were seeing from the Bears.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if we have a good sample size for the Packers defense.
I don't think we do. And
they looked good, but it was against Mitchell Trubisky.
Right. And on that note, before I forget, I think the same can be said about the Vikings. I don't think we had a good sample size of what the Vikings can do under severe adversity and games when they actually have to have their back. No, because think about it. I mean, we literally started the game off with a 3-0, three and out, a
block
special
punt.
teams block, and we ran the ball in for a touchdown, all within 2 minutes?
Sure. So that can give you momentum, but the Falcons are still a good team, and it was their week 1. They had all offseason to put a game plan together, to get fresh, for their guys to know what they were doing.
For sure.
And we came out and we dominated.
Yeah. So I'm not trying to take anything away.
No, I know what you're saying.
Do you know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying.
Okay.
And week 1, you're still trying to get the rust off the tires and everything. I get it, but man, the Falcons are continually a playoff team.
They are. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I just wanted to make that note too. As I am excited for how we did play, there is that part of me that's still kind of, we've had our heart broken too many times as Viking fans. But yeah, so.
Yeah, especially in Lambeau Field.
Week 1, for me personally, it's just tough to take all of it, as face value.
Sure.
But after week 1, it's everything that I'm seeing is what it is.
Yeah. So, I don't know, just kind of closing out the Packers-Bears game. Was there any big plays that the Packers defense put up or any big names that got, I don't remember.
Not even. I mean, Khalil Mack didn't even have a sack.
Khalil Mack didn't have a sack?
Didn't have a sack. I think, he didn't have any QB hits or anything either.
Yeah,
I think he does more. He does kind of like a Danielle Hunter, like you touched base last time, where he does more pressures than what's kind of attributed to the facts, and you can see it. But yeah, I can't think of anything because Rodgers didn't throw any picks. The Packers just had that one drive where they were going down the field and they ended up scoring. But otherwise, it was a pathetic game.
Yeah, it was
pathetic.
So here's what scares me about that is what nuggets of wisdom do you pull from that for week 2?
So that's what I'm saying.
That almost makes it harder.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, exactly.
To put a game plan together.
And you know what? Maybe that's better because then we kind of go into the expectation that they're gonna play great, and we kind of don't hold back.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We don't have anything to go off of, and we just kind of play it how it is.
Sure. But
yeah, it's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's week 2. I mean, that's a big divisional game.
Yeah. Well, that's just it. So the Packers already have a divisional game under their belt,
right?
And we don't.
Mm-hmm.
And so side note, I was just thinking of this today. The Bears won the division last year, and now they're at the bottom of the division with the Lions tie yesterday. Ooh. Week 1. Oh no.
The Packers are only in front because it was a divisional game.
Because it was a divisional game.
I mean, you guys didn't win.
And we're coming.
Give me a break.
We're coming.
So
I as hard as it is to put a game plan together based off of the Packers week 1 performance, I think that we have enough to go on from our performance in week 1 to put a solid game plan together. We know that, Zimmer was trying to tell DiFilippo all last year, run the ball, it works.
Mm-hmm.
And we found out yesterday, when you run the ball, it works.
Mm-hmm. But what I will say, though, is we did not have an offensive line with DiFilippo.
True.
We did not.
True.
And it makes it tough to run if all you're doing is hitting a wall. How many times can you bang your head into a wall?
True, but I want to go back to see how many times Dalvin tried to run to the outside yesterday. It seemed like every time he was running the ball, he was going on a stretch outside the tackles.
That is something I do want to talk about, and you can quote me, but I feel like I brought that up.
I think
during
you did.
The game.
Yeah, I think you did.
Yeah, and even Madison, the 2 times that he had big breakouts, they were pitches.
Yeah.
And the fact of the matter is with these 2, because they're so elusive and quick,
is
they just do better when you give them the ball and you're like, do what you have to do.
Exactly.
Rather when you're like, okay, here's where the hole's going to be, and you have no choice but to hit the hole.
Exactly.
This isn't Adrian Peterson. They're not like these big, bulky, stocky guys who kind of a Barkley, But yeah, I think exactly. I think you have to pitch them the ball as much as you can.
Yeah,
and don't be
give them a chance
in that department, but give them a chance.
Give them a chance to make a play. So run the ball, it works. Pass the ball, it works. When you can run the ball,
right? Because then you can mix in some play action.
Yeah,
and you become.
By the way, Kirk can play action yesterday. Oh man,
it's beautiful. I like it.
I'm loving the Stefanski Kubiak duo for the offensive minds.
Right.
I just love it. And the other thing that doesn't get talked about, well, you just brought it up, was the offensive line. Kubiak brought in his longtime offensive line coach.
Oh.
And so we have a new, well, obviously with Tony Sperano, R.I.P.
Yeah. Rest in peace.
So last year our offensive line had just like, there were 2 like makeshift coaches that were also supposed to be like another position coach, and it just didn't work out. Well, now we have a solid guy with a solid resume. I don't know his name, but Kubiak's had him for years, and so that just makes me feel a lot more comfortable with our offensive line and what they're doing to protect Kirk and give Dalvin and Madison some lanes.
Yeah, and on that note, I just feel like anytime you can bring in chemistry, Kubiak's coming in, he's got a familiar face that he's bringing in. They've worked together for years.
Yeah.
It just works.
Well, Belichick hires his kids.
Yeah. Well, exactly. Yeah. I mean, and Sunday Night Football, they had a little animation of, how long Brady, Belichick, Kraft, they're like offensive line, or no, offensive coach, offensive coordinator, what's his name? Daniels.
No. Yeah, the guy that was going to take the job.
In Indy, and then, dude, that's another inside job. That was another, let's screw the Colts up.
Well, I think what it was there was a wink and a nod that said, hey, when Bill retires, the job is yours.
Listen, man, I don't care. The Patriots are a scum of an organization. Okay? It's for another discussion, the AB, Antonio Brown situation.
Oh, man.
If we want, we can, near the end, just to touch base on that, because I have a lot that I'm irritated by that.
Okay,
seriously.
We'll see if we have time at the end. But yeah, I think that there's a bit of a collusion in pot cooking.
Yes.
So yeah, I think our offense, they can put together a solid game plan. And honestly, it's going to be tough trying to figure out what they're supposed to do against the Packers, because we don't really have a good sample size of what their defense was doing, because all we have is them going against Mitchell Trubisky.
Right.
Elmo with some wide eyes and doesn't know what to do with himself.
Yeah.
But I think our defense does have enough to go on, because with the Packers, it's the same thing every year. It's run the ball, or I'm sorry, not run the ball. Pass the ball, don't run the ball, and get Aaron Rodgers scrambling to the outside.
Right.
And it can be dangerous when Aaron Rodgers scrambles and you don't know which way he's going. But we know that they're going to pass the ball 40 times. And that they're going to give Aaron Jones the ball a maximum of like 15 times.
Right. Right.
So I think I think if Daniil and Anthony Barr, Anthony Barr getting to the quarterback again, Zimmer, if you're listening, send Anthony Barr to the quarterback. If we can get them, to put pressure on Aaron Rodgers, I think that we can put a good defensive game plan together.
Definitely. And so while we're kind of like talking about what you are, why don't we recap just last week against the Falcons?
Yeah.
Kind of, we kind of already have, but offensive, defensive breakdowns, what did you like again from?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think we touched base on it. I think, we ran the ball like we have never ran the ball before.
Right.
We passed when we had to, and when it was opportune, play action. I loved everything about our offensive plan.
It just felt like smart football.
It just felt like a complete, well-rounded game.
And like I said, I don't know if I've maybe seen that since Favre.
Yeah.
2009.
Yeah.
Just a complete game.
Yeah, when you had Favre and you had AP running, pounding the rock.
Yeah. And you know what? I had a Packer friend kind of just haggling me the whole game about how little Cousins was doing and how much money we gave him. Well, you know what? We didn't need him. And and when we do need him, he's going to step up.
And guess what? Okay, I'm so glad you brought this up.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because everybody's talking about how much we're paying Kirk, and we're paying him like $28 million a year. Well, guess what? He's like the cheapest quarterback in the league now. These contracts are getting out of hand.
Right. It's just the nature of the market.
Dak wants like $40 million
and
a
you
year.
know what? I know. I'm glad you brought that up too, because I was re-listening the first episode, and how we said that Elliott wasn't going to... was not going to be playing, and then we trashed the heck out of Dak. Well, at least I know I did.
Yeah, and he threw for like 4 touchdowns?
He had 4 touchdowns in flawless game.
Listen, the world needs to know that you and I, we're just a couple of guys, and we don't know what we're talking about.
We don't know anything from the next guy over.
So don't take any of our advice.
Right. But back to your point, though, about just like the market and the nature of the game,
Yeah.
The free agent market.
Yeah, we got a guy who can throw the ball and put it right where it needs. There's a pass, I think it was in the third quarter, he threw it to Diggs.
Yeah.
And it was right over Diggs' shoulder, right where the defender couldn't get it, but it dropped right into his breadbasket. It's like, you need a guy that can do that.
Right. And listen, you're going to hear a lot of me about Keenum, okay? I just want to quick set the record straight. I love Case Keenum. What he did for us 2 years ago, the year we went to the NFC Championship game.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing negative to say about that. But as a starting quarterback, for me, I'm not comfortable with him throwing the ball. There's too many times when he does huck it up in the air and you hold your breath. With Cousins, I don't hold my breath.
Yeah,
I just don't.
Yeah.
And so I just feel more comfortable with Cousins. And yes, we paid him so much money, but it's a team sport. We have an offensive line now. Let's use this year as our sample for what he can do for us.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. And I just think our defense, they just hit the ground running. They were a bat out of hell, man. They just went after the quarterback. They went after the ball. Anthony Harris getting those 2 interceptions.
Yeah. Listen, the Zim Reapers, they've been sleeping, and now they're awake. And we can talk about this Bears 85 defense again. They can take the headlights, but we're going to quietly do what Zimmer does.
This defense is looking better than our 2017 defense.
Yeah, what gets me going is when I see the blitzes. And when you look at the line and you try in your head, you're like, okay, A-gap blitz. Nope, coming off the corners.
They drop out of the A-gap, and then all of a sudden they're coming in off the edge.
And you can tell that I don't know what they're doing, but neither does the offense.
Yeah.
And you can it's just havoc.
I know.
Yeah.
Dude. So I think we can put a good game plan together. I do think we do have a couple of weak points against the Packers.
Mm-hmm.
And I think our biggest weak point is when, we have a really good defense,
mm-hmm.
and we can break the heck out of a play, right?
Right.
But that's when Aaron Rodgers thrives, is when a play is broken and they're just playing backyard football, and Aaron Rodgers starts scrambling, and then he throws the ball half a mile, and then whoever, Devontae Adams, goes out and gets it.
And as a cornerback, you're kind of just at a disadvantage to begin with.
Yeah.
It's same with an offensive line. When a quarterback is scrambling, the offensive line thinks you're in that nice little pocket. But when you're scrambling around like Kyler Murray was against the Lions, he was running around like a head with his head cut off. You know what I mean? And the offensive line and the cornerbacks, it's no different,
Yeah.
And that's what makes Rodgers great.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that's our biggest weak point, is just the unknown,
mm-hmm.
the things you can't plan for in a game plan, because I think that's our biggest weak point.
And so I think I'll kind of go off of that same idea and say our weak point is that, especially if Rodgers is going to be out of the shotgun, my concern is that we're not going to be able to get to him in time. And he's going to be doing quick releases.
Sure.
And eventually it's going to wear us down. The game will go on, and it's going to wear us down. It's going to wear us down. They're going to get tired. And then Rodgers is going to do what he does, and he's going to...
the shotgun or even the pistol. If he has Aaron Jones back there with him, and then Aaron Jones can throw a block, he's a stocky guy.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah. So I think you're right.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a combination of the death by 1,000 cuts, those quick slants that go for 8 yards,
right?
And then it's going to be the broken plays that go for a quarter mile to Devontae Adams, and nothing you can do about it, or the big pass interference.
Exactly. Interference.
So here's the thing, and Aaron Rodgers is the biggest culprit of this, and it's when the Vikings do it against Aaron Rodgers. It's when we jump off sides and Aaron Rodgers knows, it's a free play. Right. So then he just goes and throws the ball up, and it's not, they have a play designed for an offsides where the guys just know it's a go route, or whatever. Right. And what we need to do is when we jump off sides, and I have to credit this take to my father-in-law, Brian Edgren.
Okay.
But when we jump off sides, rather than jumping back and saying, oh crap, I just did something bad, just keep going, man. Just keep going. Go to Aaron Rodgers. If the refs think that he's in danger,
they'll call it.
They'll just whistle the play dead. But if he's going to keep playing and try to take his free play, you take that free play away from him.
Right.
You hit him as hard as you can.
So that's a very good point, actually. But I think what defenders try and do is, because every now and then they do jump off, but they don't get called for it. So they get set back up.
True.
So I think as a defender, you think that you can get back on time, but in the case against Rodgers, if you jump off, more often than not, you're getting called for it. So, like Brian was saying, I mean, just go.
Yeah.
Bull rush him.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point. I haven't thought about that.
And it takes that, it seems like that's half of their playbook is just, capitalizing on free plays. And it's like...
And you can't blame them. It's part of the game.
They're using the rule book to their advantage.
And what's crazy, though, is that I can't count another quarterback who does that. Yeah. You just can't. Yeah. So you got to give Rodgers something for being one to do.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I completely agree. So that's what I think we need to look out for. I do think that the defense that we have and the few wide receivers that they have, I think that we can play shutdown. I know you have concerns about Trey Waynes. We'll just put him on Valdez Scantling or whoever, and we'll just let them, play flag football wherever they're at. And,
right.
We'll put Xavier Rhodes on Devontae Adams. We'll put Harrison Smith over the top of that. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry. We'll put Anthony Harris over the top of that. We'll put Harrison Smith over on Trey Wayne's side to try to bail him out. And I think that our defense can shut down their offense. again, the Packers defense is an enigma to me. You know, they have who's that good middle linebacker that they have? Young guy.
I think I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, it's like Hernandez or something like that.
Yep.
And so they have some good key pieces. Can our offensive line hold? That's going to be the biggest question mark to me. You know, I think our defense can lock down their offense, and that's traditionally been their strong point.
Right.
But honestly, they brought in who did they bring in for their defensive coordinator last year? Because for years and years and years, it was Dom Capers. And I loved Dom Capers' scheme because we could just play around it, and it was not a big deal.
If I can say anything, I miss Big Mac Mike and Dom Capers. And I know Big Mac Mike is working at a McDonald's.
Well, it's probably where he belongs.
We miss you, buddy. We do miss you. But Matt LaFleur's not doing anything right now either. So
no, but their defensive coordinator, the guy that they brought in last year, I thought his scheme last year was really, really good. I remember texting one of my Packer buddies, like, man, I really miss the Dom Caper days. And he's like, yeah, I bet you do.
Yeah, right.
You know, so everybody notices they have a better scheme, and they have some good pieces. You know, I think that's where the battle is going to be won when their defense and our offense is on the field. You know, who's gonna be able to overcome that?
Right. And I think it's all going to come back again to us establishing the run game.
Yeah.
I just think football was born from the run game. That's where everything else happens.
It's like
that's
Bruce
where the magic
Springsteen
happens.
said, "Baby, you were born to run."
Yeah.
That's what
so exactly.
about.
Cook, just take it away. You know.
Yeah.
And I just think with Cook and Madison, just being able to just interchange them like that is such an advantage.
Are we talking about the Vikings having the best wide receiver duo and the best running back duo?
You can start sprinkling that seed,
dude.
We can start letting that grow.
I think so. I mean, Kamara's obviously great, but Ingram left, so who's down? Latavius Murray is down there.
Murray went down there.
You know, so they're kind of a duo,
right.
But I think Murray's more of like a change of pace back. I don't think he's or a third down guy. I don't think he's meant to be like a duo.
And he's strictly a north-south runner.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah,
that's it. He needs to have a hole, or he's not going anywhere.
Yeah. I think in order for us to have the conversation of do we have a solid running back duo, we need to see whether or not Madison can catch the ball. I don't think, did we pass it to him much?
No, and that's what I'm saying is that week one we didn't have much. We don't have much to look at us other than us running the ball, and the defense was great. But from the other aspects of the game, I don't think we saw enough to be able to sit here and say, you know, so that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, it's like the same thing with the Bears Packers game.
Exactly.
It was so bad that we don't really know what to go off of, whereas our game, you know, so good. We got ahead so early.
Yeah. And I mean, Kirk only threw the ball 10 times, you know, so like we didn't see much. And he had only a couple, I think, to Thielen, and the one at Diggs were both like maybe 15, 20 yards. Yeah. You know, because he only threw for 98 yards. So,
I don't know. I think our strong points are we have a solid running back duo, we have a solid wide receiver duo, and we have a quarterback who can put the ball where it needs to be put.
Right. So keys to success.
Yeah.
Well, why don't you hit me with two things you think we for sure need to do to win this game?
So we need to make sure that Rodgers doesn't escape the pocket. We need to contain him, because once he gets outside the pocket, he starts pointing his fingers to Devontae like, no, don't run that route. Run this route over here, you know, and just, we got to be able to contain him. And the second thing is we need to be able to continue to run the ball. If we can continue to run the ball, that's going to open up everything else for us. We'll be able to pass the ball. We'll be able to do everything. And they have that middle linebacker, again, I'm forgetting his name. But yeah, he's pretty good. So I think if we can run the ball and if we can contain Aaron Rodgers, I think we can win.
Yeah. Good. For my keys to success, I mean, they're kind of in line with what you're saying. I'm going to say for sure we got to run the ball.
Yeah.
And then with the running, I just think getting pressure is going to be key. I think if we can just get Rodgers off his rhythm, just like we did with Matt Ryan, and get into his head, then I think from there it kind of trickles down. And then they're going to abandon the run game, and then we can kind of really have a good grasp of the game.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, Aaron Rodgers in the past, he's always kind of been calm, cool, and collected. You know, they call him, whatever nicknames they want to call him, and he's always kind of had a swagger about him. But in the rare times where you can get into his head, he starts to make mistakes. Yeah, and you can see
it on his face too.
And exactly. And I think people have been getting into his head more and more as he's been getting older and older. I think that he's more susceptible to that.
Here's what I do want to say on that note. I'm a firm believer that Rodgers is finally slowing down.
You think so?
I'm a firm believer.
I think so too.
I'm a firm believer.
Well, what? He's got two collarbones made out of metal. He's got a knee that's probably, half fake. Yeah, I think you're right.
And also, he just doesn't have a team around him. Ever since Jordy Nelson left, like the one last piece that he had kind of for chemistry wise was gone. When he left, then things I feel like really slowed down.
Well, and I think for years and years and years, there was a lot of trust between Aaron Rodgers and the Packers organization. Yeah. The Packers traded, or did they trade or did they cut?
No, they cut him and he went to the Raiders. Yeah.
So they cut Jordy Nelson without talking to Aaron Rodgers,
which just blows my mind. Man. I don't understand how you can't consult with like your franchise Hall of Fame quarterback.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't get it.
And I think it goes to show that there are times when Rodgers is disgruntled.
Yeah. Well, and I think after that, they got their new GM. They got rid of the coach. And you know what? Aaron Rodgers is still here.
And you know what? The new GM has done things in free agency. Usually the Packers go without signing anyone. Yeah. But they finally started to pick stuff up, and I think Packers fans appreciate that.
Sure. So I think you're right. I think we're seeing a new era in the Packers where as a Vikings fan, I hate to say it, they were dominant for a long period of time. I think we're already starting to see it. We're starting to see the turnover with the head coach. We're seeing the turnover with the GM. Aaron Rodgers is 36?
He's only getting older.
Right. He's not going to be able to TB12 his way to play until he's 45. Mm-hmm. I think he's got this contract left, and I think he maybe can do another 2-year extension like Drew Brees did, but I think that's it. Right. I think he's going to hang this hat up by the time he's 40. Mm-hmm. 41, 42 tops.
I would love for him to leave the Packers and go somewhere else.
Brett Favre?
Yeah, Brett Favre. I'm not saying come to an NFC North rival, but to see him like leave and go and do something somewhere else, because they've been nothing since their Super Bowl.
That's true. I think a change of pace for everyone would do everyone good there. But as a Vikings fan, I can't say that I'm hating it.
No, not at all.
Again, this game is in Lambeau Field, so we do have that to worry about. I'm actually going deep into Packer territory this weekend. I'm leaving Thursday night, and I'm going to the dead center of Wisconsin to hang out at a buddy's cabin. And there's going to be 2, 4, 5 Vikings fans there and 2 Packer fans there. So we'll be deep into Packer territory, but we'll have them outnumbered. So I think we're going to hang out and watch the game. It'll be fun. I'll give a little report when I'm back.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm just going to be hanging out with Dan probably. And we'll be over at my place. Maybe I'll get some other friends over, but Packers Vikings, that's all you want. I'm more on the side of not having Packer fans with me on games like that, because I realize I'm not fun to watch games with. Well, not in like a negative way, but just like I don't need to hear rival thoughts.
I can't stand that. Yeah. Or like when we do something to go to, that was just a fluke.
Right.
I will say the Packer friends that I'm going to hang out with, I've known them for a very long time. I love them dearly, and I appreciate their takes, but you're going down. And
I was trying to bait you into trashing your friends. No, I'm just kidding. So why don't we'll wrap this up in next like 2-3 minutes. Score predictions.
Yeah, so we both have this as a win.
Yeah, we both do have wins. For kicks, we'll just throw out a number. I wanna say that I'm not a fan of predicting the score because you're always going to be wrong.
Yeah.
But for fun, for the sake of it.
But it gives a metric as to how dominant do you think we're going to be.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point. You want me to go first?
Yeah, why don't you go first?
All right, I haven't given this much thought.
I haven't given it any thought.
Not any thought at all,
I want to shoot from the hip.
Yeah, so I'm going to go confidently 24-7 Vikings.
24-7 Vikings.
Yeah, that's what I got.
Okay. In Lambeau Field.
In Lambeau, I think defense is going to prevail. Rodgers is going to be flustered. They won't have a run game. It's just going to be like I'm hoping, again, this sucks that this is all on record, but I'm hoping it's one of those sad games for the Packers. Kind of like last week.
I am hoping that it's a sad game for the Packers. Especially at Lambeau Field. I'm really hoping that they just are out there, kicking the can down the road. Right.
It's making excuses.
My favorite thing after a Vikings win over the Packers, or even any NFC North win over the Packers, or even any win over the Packers, period, is all of the excuses that Packer fans come up with as to why, we didn't win because of this or we didn't win because of that, and they're
right.
And it's always an excuse, and it's always something that we couldn't have controlled. So I'm gonna give them a little bit of credit. I'm gonna say that the Vikings win 21-10.
Okay.
Still a healthy victory. I think it's going to be competitive. I think that we don't have enough quality film on what the Packers are doing this year to put together a solid game plan, but I think that Zimmer's going to be able to make some halftime adjustments. Going into halftime, it'll probably be, it'll probably be 14-7 Vikings, and we'll have to make some adjustments. They'll get one more field goal, and I think we'll get one more touchdown. I think it's going to be a gritty game.
Yep.
I do think that their defense is better than what they let on. 21-10.
21-10. All right, I got 24-7. Wrapping her up.
Yeah.
All right, that concludes week 3 or
episode 3, week 2
prediction.
We'll see you guys next week for our recap show to talk about how right I was.
Hopefully we come out with a win.
Yeah. All right. Skol Vikings.
Thanks, everyone.